and welcome dear viewers. This is ERi-TV English news for this hour. I'm Barsaba Taghla, your reporter, and coming up are the top stories for today. Minister Usman Saleh addresses a group of friends in defense of UN Charter. Keren and Galab subzones declare themselves free of FGM. Netanyahu says Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire deal agreed. And the G7 leaders agree to deliver $50 billion in loans to Ukraine. On your domestic reports, Mr. Usman Saleh, Minister of Foreign Affairs, virtually addressed the extraordinary ministerial meeting of the Group of Friends in Defense of the United Nations Charter on Palestine on 25 November. Minister Usman reaffirmed Eritrea's firm solidarity and unwavering support for the resilient Palestinian people and their just and legitimate struggle for self-determination, peace and justice. He emphasized that the right to self-determination is a cornerstone of the United Nations Charter and international law, asserting that this right must be fully granted and respected in the case of the Palestinian people. He further urged the international community to support their aspirations to live in peace, security and dignity. Minister Usman acknowledged the challenges on the path to peace, but noted the growing international recognition of the Palestinian struggle as a significant step forward. He highlighted that the Palestinian people deserve the same rights and freedoms as all other peoples on earth, and that a lasting and just peace can only be achieved through the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. At this critical juncture, Minister Usman stressed that the indispensable role of Palestinian unity in their pursuit of self-determination and justice. He highlighted that fragmentation and division within Palestinian society, primarily orchestrated by hegemonic actors, continue to undermine their ability to claim their legitimate rights under international law. He concluded by asserting that the status quo is neither sustainable nor morally acceptable, and called on the international community to act. In other news, the Keren and Galab subzones in the Ansaba region have officially declared themselves free of female genital mutilation or FGM on 23 and 25 November respectively. During ceremonies held in Keren city in the Galab semi-urban center, Colonel Tasfatin Girmay, chairman of the Committee for Ensuring the Rights of Children and Women and the Eradication of Harmful Practices, highlighted the negative health and psychological effects of FGM on women. He called for strengthened public involvement in sustaining its eradication. Mr. Razanar Aya and Mr. Usman Adam, administrators of the Keren and Galab subzones, noted the strong efforts made to raise public awareness about harmful practices, stating that the achievements reflect the success of these initiatives. Ambassador Abdullah Musa, governor of the region, congratulated the people of the two subzones and emphasized the importance of sustaining these achievements. It's worth noting that through the collaborative efforts of the Ministries of Labor and Social Welfare, Health and the National Union of Eritrean Women, the subzones of Asmat, Habaro, Halhal, Aditakalezan and Elabaret had previously declared themselves free of FGM. The viewers will be back shortly with your international news and more, so please stay tuned. Welcome back. A ceasefire has been agreed to end 13 months of fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, U.S. President Joe Biden has announced. Effective at 4:00 local time on Wednesday, the fighting across the Lebanese-Israel border will end, Biden said, adding that it aimed to be a permanent cessation of hostilities. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel will not hesitate to strike if Hezbollah breaks any part of the agreed deal. There has been no response from the Iran-backed armed group, which had been trading fire with Israel since October 2023. Fighting escalated in late September when Israel intensified bombardments and launched a limited ground invasion. According to local officials, it has been Lebanon's deadliest conflict in decades, killing more than 3,823 people. The ceasefire started overnight on Wednesday as planned. Attacks by both sides were recorded until shortly before the deal came into effect. On today's final report, leaders of the group of 7 wealthy democracies reached a consensus on delivery of some $50 billion in loans to Ukraine, backed by the earnings from frozen Russian sovereign assets starting as early as December. Our aim is to begin dispersing the funds by the end of the year, said the statement, which was released as global finance chiefs were meeting in Washington for the International Monetary Fund and World Bank annual meetings. An accompanying statement from G7 finance ministers said that the loans would be dispersed through a series of bilateral loans, starting as soon as December 1 and continuing through the end of 2027, and installments that will reflect Ukraine's urgent financing needs. Each bilateral loan would enter into force no later than June 30, 2025, which will provide some timing flexibility for G7 members to arrange details. You're still watching us on ERi-TV. The viewers, and now recap of the major headlines. Minister Osman Saleh addresses group of friends in defense of UN Charter. Keren and Galeb subzones declare themselves free of FGM. Netanyahu says Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire deal agreed. And G7 leaders agreed to deliver $50 billion in loans to Ukraine. That was it for today, viewers. Thanks for watching.